Om Shanti, and a very good morning to all. Today we are going to read the Murli dated 9th April 1986. The title of the Murli is Signs of a True Server. In today's Murli, Baba is giving us a clear difference between stars of success and stars of hope as he is looking at his constellation today. And how do each of these affect other souls of the world? He further explains that there will be visions of our point forms, light and angelic form. So we need to keep practicing this stage and these forms, right? Furthermore, Baba beautifully explains that tapasya should be merged in service. It has to be intrinsic. And a service built on renunciation and tapasya is true service. And Baba also elaborates on the true meaning of service and signs of a true server. So let's read the Murli together. It's a 2-day Murli, so we will read it today and tomorrow as well. So today, the sun of knowledge and the moon of knowledge are seeing all the stars of the constellation of Earth. All the stars are sparkling and emanating their light and sparkle. There is variety amongst the stars. Some are special stars of knowledge. Some are easy yogi stars. Some are stars who are images of donating virtues. Some are stars who are constant servers, and some are stars who are constantly complete. So he reminds us about 4 subjects here, right? Knowledge, yoga, dharana, seva. And of course, he says that the 5th one, the 5th category is of the stars who are constantly complete. Right? That means full in all the 4 subjects. However, the most elevated of all are the stars who have success at every second. As well as these, there are some who are still only stars of hope. On the other hand, there are stars of hope, and on the other, the stars of success. There is a vast difference between these two, and yet the influence of each kind of star falls on the souls of the world and also on matter. The stars of success influence everyone with their zeal and enthusiasm. The stars of hope sometimes experience love and sometimes labor. Right? A very clear difference. But the stars of success will influence everybody with zeal and enthusiasm. Why? Because success is very natural to them. And the stars of hope sometimes experience love and sometimes labor. So because they are under both of these influences, they exert them on others as they move forward. That means sometimes they will exert that experience of love and sometimes labor, right? However, having hopes, they still move forward. So each of you can ask yourself, which star am I? It doesn't matter the labor, doesn't matter uh, the effort, unless and until we know that yes, I have a weakness and I'm working on it. The Bible says, okay, like having hopes, you can still move forward, right? But just don't give up that I'm not going to do it or I'm not going to take this. Right? Just keep moving, just keep going. The Bible says, each of you can ask yourself, which star am I? All the stars have knowledge, yoga, virtues, and the feelings of service, but some specifically have the sparkle of knowledge, some the speciality of remembrance and yoga, and some especially attract others by being images of all virtues. Even though all four aspects are being imbibed, there is a difference in the percentage imbibed. So, this is why there is some variety visible in the sparkling stars, right? Because some find it easy to uh, read knowledge and study, right? Some find it uh, very easy to sit in remembrance, okay? But they have less interest in knowledge. For some, it is easy to imbibe the virtues, right? And maybe for others, it's easy to uh, move on with service. But Bible says there is a difference in the percentage that you imbibe, right? Kam zyada ki baat. So this is why there is some variety visible in the sparkling stars. This is a unique spiritual constellation. Your influence as spiritual stars falls on the world, just as physical stars influence the world. To the extent that you stars become powerful yourself, to that extent there will be an influence on the souls of the world. And this will continue to happen in the future. The more powerful we are, the more powerful impact we will be able to create on the souls of the world. Right? Bible says the greater the darkness all around, the more clearly visible the sparkle of the stars would be. Therefore, as the darkness of lack of attainment continues to increase, and it will continue to increase, the more they will experience the special influence of you spiritual stars. See, Baba is saying that the more the darkness, the more they will experience the special influence. But even we should be capable of that, right? If we should be powerful enough to have that impact on the souls of the world, this will not happen for everybody, right? Because we need to have that much of power to influence others and make them feel, make them experience the same. Just as I guess in Sunday's Avyakvani, if I'm not wrong, but Baba mentioned that whosoever's seva, whosoever's service you are doing, they should also feel and they should also say that yes, Baba is mine. Sirif acha hai bol diya, you are doing a great task, this will not work. Right? Baba said that even they should feel that Baba is mine. With the heart, from the heart, they should say, Baba Mira. Right? So such souls will be able to create an influence and a long-lasting impact on others, right? So further, Baba says everyone will be able to see you in the form of the sparkling stars of earth, in your form of points of light, as bodies of light, as angels, just as they use their time, energy, and money researching into the stars of the sky. When they see you, spiritual stars, they will be amazed. Just as they watch the stars in the sky now, in the same way, they will watch the constellation of this earth, the sparkle of the angels, and the beauty of the stars emanating light. Again, a subtle checking here, and that it's something to read in between the lines, that if I am practicing my point stage, my light stage, again and again, only then when it will become natural for me, it will then create an impact on others, and others will be able to see its true visions. But if I only don't have the habit of looking myself as an angel, practicing that, or maybe practicing my point form, it won't, the others won't be able to see that, right? So Baba says, they will experience this and ask, who are they? Where have they come from to show their magic? At the beginning of establishment, people everywhere had a wave of experience of visions of Brahma and Krishna. Who is this? What am I seeing? See, here there is a difference. In the beginning, Adime, Baba used to do it. Shiv Baba used to bring Brahma in the form of Krishna, and people used to have those visions, right? Sakshatkar ho jate the. But towards the end, Brahma Baba, Brahma Baba's Purusharth, his effort and his continuous practice gave these visions to others, these experiences of visions. मतलब पहले शिव बाबा कराते थे, but later on it was Brahma himself who actually settled in that, that mold of Sri Krishna, and then the others were able to see that, right? Because initially he did not know what is happening. He did not even have the awareness, but still people could experience Sri Krishna and sometimes Vishnu also. So that was Shiv Baba doing it. But later on, towards the end, where people felt that Baba has now become a true angel, that was Baba's effort, that was Baba's push, right? And his, what you can say, that intoxication that I'm going to be the Krishna, right? So Baba says, the attention of many was drawn to try and understand it. In the same way, now, at the end, everywhere in the world, through the sparkle of both forms, the light and angel, they will have visions of Bap Dada and the children. From one, it will spread to many, and the attention of all will be drawn here. This divine scene is waiting for all of you to become complete. So when you experience this angelic stage easily and automatically, there will then truly be visions of angels. So this year has especially been given so that you can create the angelic stage. Some children are thinking, will we just need to practice remembrance, or will we also do service? Or will we be liberated from doing service and just sit in tapasya? Sabhabdada is now telling you the true meaning of service. Further, feelings of service means to have constantly good wishes for every soul, to have feelings of the most elevated, pure desires. The feelings to serve means to give every soul fruit according to their own feelings and not to have any limited feelings, but to have the most elevated feelings. Right? It's like giving the other soul what he needs and not what I want to give him. Like the other person wants food, but I'm only giving him water, it won't satisfy. So Baba is saying the feelings to serve means to give every soul the fruit according to their own feelings. Right? So if anyone has a feeling of seeking spiritual love from you, or a feeling of wanting cooperation, or any of the powers, or of happiness, or zeal and enthusiasm, or a feeling of attaining all powers, then to serve means to give them the fruit of all of those various feelings. Right? Some people, some souls meeting us might need that spiritual love, right? Some might want the cooperation of powers. Okay? They might not want powers, but if we give them, if we cooperate with them, they might need that. Some might need happiness, zeal, enthusiasm, and the others might also need a feeling of attaining those powers. Right? They might need those powers, not only slight cooperation, but उनको शक्ति चाहिए हो. So further Baba says, that is to inspire them with your cooperation to experience that. This is what is meant by true feelings of service. Just simply to give a speech or to explain to groups or to give the course to someone or open a center doesn't mean to have feelings of service. See how he says this? Yeah? If you've only given a speech, you've explained the big group, हाँ? किसी को course करा दिया, center खोल दिया, Baba says this is not enough. This does not mean to have feelings of service. To do service means to serve souls in such a way that they experience some attainment. When service is done in this way, there is also tapasya within that. Right? It's like अगर किसी को कुछ मिला ही नहीं मेरी सेवा से, forget about मेरी सेवा, whatever I'm doing, nobody is able to experience it, and I myself am not satisfied. Even I don't feel like कि हाँ कुछ हुआ है. So what kind of seva am I doing then? Right? It's only verbal, or maybe I've invested, I've put in some stool धन लगा दिया, तन से कर लिया थोड़ा बहुत, but it's still not giving me satisfaction. कोई प्राप्ति नहीं हो रही, ना मुझे हो रही ना सामने वाले को हो रही. Then that's not seva, right? Because Baba says clearly, I'll read that sentence again. To do service means to serve souls in such a way that they experience some attainment. And when service is done in this way, there is also tapasya within that. That means we don't have to then sit for hours in tapasya, but the slight or the service from the heart itself involves tapasya in that, right? And that is why, don't you think that dadis or say Baba Mama would have find it easy to do tapasya and service both at the same time, right? क्योंकि उनकी सेवा में ही तपस्या समाई हुई थी, right? Because it's not that they did not have seva; they had a lot of seva, especially when the yajna moved to India, and then Baba sent all the dadis to different places, right, for service. So there was a lot at the centers. Uh, Father Baba says, you have heard the significance of tapasya. It is to perform a task with determination. Where there are accurate feelings of service, the feeling of tapasya is not separate from those. Where there is a combined form of renunciation, tapasya, and service, that is true service. If there is service without renunciation and tapasya, it is service only in name, and its fruit is only temporary. Service is done, the influence of temporary fruit is reaped, and it finishes there. The influence of temporary attainment is temporary praise. They will say, there has been a very good lecture, you gave the course very well, you did very good service. So, by someone speaking of the goodness, temporary fruit was received. The one who spoke also received temporary fruit. अच्छा कर दिया और वहीं खत्म हो गया. However, to give an experience needs to enable them to forge a relationship with the Father and to make them powerful. This is true service. If there isn't renunciation and tapasya in true service, it isn't even 50% service, but 25% service. So the sign of a true server is renunciation, that is humility, and tapasya, that is determination of having faith and intoxication in the one Father. This very well reminds me of Vishwakishore Bhau. There was this soul in the yajna who was an exact copy of Baba. Okay, in all these three forms, like renunciation, tapasya, and seva. Just the way Baba did, he did that. And when that soul left the body, he became aware even before Baba. He left his body in 1968, and while Baba became aware in 1969. So it was Baba who said that there is no child like him. There was, like Baba till date has no child like him. And he was very, like, absolutely an embodiment of humility. Like, never demanding anything for himself. When we read about such souls, it makes you feel like so grounded, and it takes you back to those roots. Like, maybe I even come from this family, right? And everybody should read about him. Like, uh, a wonderful soul indeed, right? And उनका नाम भी वैसे था ना, विश्व किशोर. That means people say that. I don't know if it's true or not, but he is the first child of Lakshmi Narayan. Vishwa ke Malik ka Kishore. So he was just he lived his name, like, whatever title was, whatever name was given to him. Unka पुरुषार्थ भी वैसे ही था. The Bible says this is what is meant by accurate service. Bhakta is asking you to become constantly true servers. If in the name of service you get disturbed or you disturb others, then Bhakta asks you to free yourself from that type of service. In that case, it would be better not to do that type of service, because the special virtue experienced from doing service is contentment. Where there isn't contentment, either with yourself or with those with whom you are in contact, then that service will not bring you fruit, nor will it allow others to attain fruit. Therefore, first, simply make yourself a jewel of contentment, and then do service. Otherwise, there will definitely be a subtle burden. Many varieties of burdens become obstacles to the flying stage. You don't want to increase your burden, but you want to remove it. So when you have this consciousness, it is better to be in solitude, because by staying in solitude, you will pay attention to self-transformation. See how Baba clearly says that if you are not satisfied with yourself, don't go into service at that time. वो सूक्ष्म में बोझ चढ़ाता है. So we will just finish up this paragraph for today. Right? The tapasya that Bhagdada is speaking about is not a question of just sitting in tapasya day and night. Though to sit in tapasya is also to do service, but you have to be a lighthouse and lighthouse and spread rays of peace, rays of power, and create such an atmosphere. Along with tapasya, there is service to the mind. It isn't separate. Otherwise, what sort of tapasya would you do? See, it's both. It's vice versa. When you are doing service, उसमें भी तपस्या हो, and then when you are sitting in tapasya, उसमें भी सेवा हो. Right? It's both ways. Baba says you are already elevated souls, Brahman souls. But tapasya means to be full of all powers and with your determined stage and determined thoughts to serve the world. To serve with words alone is not service. Just as happiness, peace, and purity are related, in the same way, renunciation, tapasya, and service are all related to one another. Baba has summed up, brief of the entire Murli in one line. Just as happiness, peace, and purity are related, in the same way, renunciation, tapasya, and service are all related to one another. Bapdada is asking you to become the form of tapasya, that is, to become the form of a powerful server. The drishti of someone who is an embodiment of tapasya will also do service. The face of someone who is an embodiment of peace will also do service. Simply having a glimpse of someone who is an image of tapasya will give the experience of attainment. That means I don't have to speak. Right? If I feel, if I become an embodiment of tapasya, If I or even go and stand at a particular place, seva will happen apne aap. Like I don't have to make an effort there. Right? Look how nowadays huge crowds gather to have a glimpse of someone who just does limited tapasya. That is the memorial of the influence of your tapasya, which will continue even now to the very end. Do you understand what is meant by feelings of service? Feelings of service means feelings with which you can merge all the weaknesses of others. This is not easy. Feelings of service means feelings with which you can merge all the weaknesses of others. It does not mean feelings of opposing the weakness of others, but to have feelings of merging, for you to have tolerance and a feeling of wanting to give power to others. This is why they use the term the power of tolerance. To tolerate means to fill oneself with power and give power to others. To tolerate doesn't mean to die. Some think that by tolerating they will die. They say, do I have to die? However, that is not dying. It is the way to live in everyone's heart with love. So to tolerate means to fill oneself with power and give others also the power. No matter how much opposition there may be, they may be even stronger than Ravan, and you may have to tolerate not just once, but 10 times. The fruit of tolerance is eternal and sweet, for they will also definitely change. Don't feel I have tolerated so much, so they should also do something in return. Don't have feelings of temporary fruit, have feelings of mercy. This is what is meant by feelings of service. So this year, give the proof of doing true service and take a golden chance to come into the list of those who have given the proof of that. This year, Baba will not see that you have a good mela or a good function, but you have to claim a number ahead in the service of being jewels of contentment and of giving contentment to others. Claim a prize in the ceremony of winning the title of destroyer of obstacles. Do you understand? This is the stage that is described as being a destroyer of attachment and an embodiment of remembrance. So now, show the special form of being, show the special form of becoming complete, of reaching the conclusion in this 18th year by being an embodiment of that 18th chapter. This is the stage described as being like the Father. Acha, to the spiritual stars who are constantly sparkling, to the jewels of contentment who spread waves of contentment, to the powerful souls who influence others with their constant renunciation, tapasya, and service simultaneously, to those who constantly give all souls spiritual fruit, spiritual feelings, to each elevated child who is a seed like the Father, Bapdada's love, remembrance, and namaste for becoming perfect. From us children to our beloved Bapdada, love-filled remembrance and namaste. Thank you. So we will spend a minute in silence, reflect on the points of the Murli, and then we shall share. Om Shanti. We can now share points from the Murli.
Om Shanti, Deepika Bani. Om Shanti. I really thought when you started reading the Murli, it's going to be about the beautiful family of the sun, the moon, and the stars. And whenever Baba speaks of these stars, the different kinds of stars, Lucky, Sitari, and all, the first thing which comes to my mind is that the poem, as if Baba is singing to us, "Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder." That immediately comes to my memory. Or I'm sitting in a open garden looking at the skies and looking at the beautiful constellation of stars and trying to from a distance saying each one what influence, whether it's the Great Bear or any star, what's a kind of wonderment it gives in us. Immediately, my visuals just go when Baba starts something about stars. And he did speak something about stars, he just touched, but he only spoke about the star of hope and star of success. But what an analogy, because just yesterday he spoke about tapasya, renunciation, and service, and gave us a different version for tapasya yesterday. Tapasya is a deep method of the deep method of meditation. Tapasya is where, like Jwalamukhi yard, when you sit over here like a fire from a distance, people will be able to see you. Like I'm sitting over here and looking at the stars above the distance. I just took this analogy. Maybe Baba just brought the star analogy over here to make us understand how these stars, these beautiful stars, attract not only astronomers but also others. What about spiritual stars in the constellation, especially in this confluence age? I was just trying to connect this analogy. And but here then Baba just immediately went down to his topic of tapasya, like where he said you should experience the rays. It actually means you should experience the rays of peace and power spreading everywhere. And here Baba says it's tapasya and renunciation, like the same what he spoke even yesterday, but the way he took it from a star, from a divine consciousness, from an angelic, and how to serve. What is an accurate server through all these examples which he has given? What is service? How should we serve? And he just immediately connected it to that determined thought, what we call it as tapasya, how to link with Baba, how to be his lovely spirit, how we should be a spiritual constellation. But I found a little scattered the terms which Baba gave here for tapasya. Tapasya is not just sitting day and night, but tapasya has to be a lighthouse. Tapasya, there were many connotations which he had given for tapasya. I was just trying to trace myself into what Baba actually is trying to give. Because if you see in the Murli, it was from the star down over here. So I was trying to trace the link which Baba is giving over here. But just looking at a person who's an image of tapasya is like looking at the star in the sky and being wondered. I think this is a kind of a puzzle which I was going through when you were reading the Murli. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Thank you, Baba. Thank you, Divine Family. Baba said that tapasya means performing actions with strong resolve. And strong resolve means even if there is an obstacles, so we have to become facing any the difficulties, but having the great persistence and mental toughness to stick with the something even when it is hard or when there are obstacles. So this is the real tapasya I got message. Om Shanti. Thank you, Baba.
Mm. Baba gave the definition of tapasya today that anything that you are doing with a determined thought is nothing but tapasya. And of course, then he said renunciation, faith in the Father, and seva, service. All the three should be merged. Yes. Anything else? See, when we do it from the heart, when seva is done with true feelings, so Baba said, then your tapasya and service, this is not different. वो दोनों एक ही हो जाएगा. It will be merged in one. Why? Because again, you are doing that in Baba's remembrance. वो निस्वार्थ भाव से आप करते हो. You don't want anything from there, right? You don't want a name, you don't want fame, you don't want anything for yourself, right? But then you are doing it with a very determined thought and having that faith in Baba, with the true heart for someone, for all the souls, and then it will not even limit us कि अच्छा मैं इसके लिए करूँ, I'll do it for this person, I'll do it for that person. No, it's in all, overall, Baba's service. Right? Because many a times, where I guess Baba also mentioned somewhere that you don't have to come into limited stuff. Huh? हद में नहीं आना. Like I have seen a few people at the centers, what they do is ये तो दीदी की सेवा है, ये तो परिवार की सेवा है. Okay, to some extent, that having that feeling that of course I'm doing this for a particular soul, but that brings us and that keeps you very. I mean, that brings your thought process to a very narrow level. कि हद में कि मैं इस particular soul की सेवा कर रहा हूँ या कर रही हूँ. But it has to be like ये बेहद का मेरा परिवार है, and I'm doing service for Baba. I guess that opens doors to broader aspects of seva, and then makes you feel or think in that perspective also. So it has to be again from the heart, and it has to be for Baba. That is why he said three things: Tyag, Tapasya, Seva. And also, somewhere Baba mentioned that Tyag, renunciation means humility. And connecting to that, he gave the definition that Tapasya means faith in the Father, right? Yeah. Somebody wanted to say something? Yeah.
Yeah, just one thing I wanted to add over here, Deepika sister. Like as I went, the same thing as I told you was the Murli for us yesterday. And I remember very much in the year 1992, that was the year of Tapasya, when, we had all these, what we call it as avyak signals. And there, Baba had really given so many of the, like tapasya means merged in one, tapasya means belonging to one. And that was the time even two beautiful cassettes, audio cassettes had come, Tapasya 1 and 2. And to just say, like, how the whole fire in the body, which is enveloped with his love, and how it purifies. We have also gone through that kind of meaning of tapasya. But over here, if you see, there's something, as he said, the determined thought. And when it comes to renunciation, also it was explained, tapasya, if you say belonging to one, the whole world doesn't exist. You should not accept anything, you should not accept anyone, nothing exists for you. So renunciation also comes in when not to accept. If suppose you accept something from somebody, then that is not total renunciation. So a very deep meaning between tapasya and renunciation was given. If that is given, that person who does with such kind of attitude is true seva, or what we call it a service. Because service, if there is no renunciation, no tapasya, then there will be some return, but it will be temporary. So even there. But if suppose others have shared, I just want you to, if suppose there is time, I want you to again give me that link how beautifully, like where when Baba says, dot angel will be visible, and Baba is waiting for you to complete the divine scene. There were a few thoughts which Baba had given in the Murli. If you can just speak about what he's saying, that I'm waiting for you to complete the divine scene. People are looking at dot and angels. If suppose you could share after others have shared.
Anybody like to share anything on this point? Would like to add on to anything?
It's very simple but a deep point that Baba has reiterated in today's Murli. Is service is what others need, not what you have to give. So the reflection here is be interested in what others need. Then you've been doing service in an interesting way, you know. ऐसा कर लूंगी तो अच्छा लगेगा, ऐसा होगा तो अच्छा होगा. He says, look into what is the need. And a simple example is if somebody needs water and you're giving them a juice, the thirst will not get quenched. That's the practice to be taken with complete awareness from this Murli is what is my take home back.
So true. Adding to the point, like Girija sister said, that what is Baba trying to say somewhere here, where he mentioned that people will be having visions of your point form and your angelic form. Like in the beginning, just there were scenes, experiences of visions, people having that sakshatkar of Sri Krishna and Vishnu, maybe. So he says that towards the end also there will be these scenes, जहाँ point का और फरिश्ते का ज्योति और फरिश्ते का साक्षात्कार औरों को होगा. So what I think he meant is like I am only waiting for you to be complete in your both these forms, the form of a light, that means Jyoti Bindu, and the form of an angel. That is why we practice that 5 forms drill, which my first and the last is both are light, the forms of light. So that is why he keeps reminding ki Swadarshan Chakradhari ho, and those 2 forms also come in between. Also, we can do it separately when we do it like Tino Loko ki Ser wali jo drill he teaches us. So when we practice this and we try to stick in these forms for quite some time, and then this will become natural to us. So he tried to say that only then will people be able to see these visions from you, when you yourself will be able to stick in that form of light and in that angelic form of yours, angelic stage of yours. Only then will others be able to see this. Anything else? Any other point that anybody wants to share, would like to add on to anything? It has now become like, more of experiencing these stages, right? Because each one of us, like here, might have read these Murlis maybe once, maybe twice. Everybody knows that Baba wants us to become a point of light. Baba wants me to become a complete angel. But then now he says that the ball is in your court. Sab suna diya, sab bata diya. You have to do it now. Eh? Don't you feel like it's time for us to actually experience these stages where Baba says that I think in yesterday's or day before yesterday's Sakar Murli, where he mentioned ek ghanta, if you become that, if you feel and experience that stage of ashariri, you'll become so pure and you'll gather so much, right? And this could be like a blessing for all of us. We are able to do this for 1 hour continuously, sitting in silence, taking out time, taking out time for the soul to practice some new, this new drills throughout the day also. Right? Because I don't feel like any of us is here new to these concepts of Atma or Farishta or anything, but it's more of practice. Right? Anyone like to share anything, any other point, any other thing that is left?
Deepika Ben, as you rightly said, these Murlis really, we have read it earlier. We have read it even in the Sunday editions and all. But that time we have read it in a solitary style. In Sunday, when we read the Avyak Murli solitarily on the Sunday, and then we go back to Sakar. But now you see, now when we are reading these Murlis in continuation, it is such a beautiful link to just see how Baba really brought those original jewels, he linked them, slowly brought them. It's a wonder. We never realized all that because we read the Murli separately. Like now, even he spoke about contentment. The same thing was there day before yesterday, Murli. Contentment, being unlimited, and happiness are the three things which brings you to the 18th chapter. And now today he's saying 18th year because 69 to 86. This is the 18th year. A link we get when with this Murlis, and I now understand how these original jewels are dadis and all, it's how 7th April, 8th, 9th April, how he brought that link. We never read Murlis like that. We read them in solitary. As you rightly said, when you revise these Avyakt Murlis, when you link them, just when he spoke of renunciation, I just thought about the 1982 Murlis, well, wonderful set of Murlis. I think Avyak Murlis are the biggest encyclopedias or Google thing which one could get if you want to really attain what Baba wants to say. What you said, I just wanted to add to that. Om Shanti.
Yes, so true. The only Google. Okay, so let's move towards the meditation then. Will you take and spend a minute in silence? Reflect on how I, the soul, can bring these three aspects of renunciation, tapasya, and seva in my daily routine, in my practice. Just a minute reflecting upon that. Om Shanti. Thank you, Baba. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Om Shanti. Thank you to Baba. Thank you, Deepika Ben. Thank you, Divine Family. See you tomorrow at 5 a.m. Until then, have a beautiful day.